Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today is the first ranking of 2023. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I think you guys are going to be a little bit surprised about my ranking this month. So if you guys are nosy, then just keep watching. If this is your first time on my channel, welcome. My name is KARENHARRIS. I like to film tan girl friendly makeup videos here on YouTube. For the last 2-3 years, I think I've been ranking my eyeshadow palettes every month. So if you like this type of video, if you like eyeshadow palettes in general, especially knowing if they're tan girl friendly, then this is the place for you. Highly recommend subscribing, turning on that bell so you're notified every time I post. And without further blabbering, let's get into it. Okay, you guys, so I do have a rankings playlist if you guys are interested. I will link it in the cards for you so you can watch some of my old rankings. I feel like it's a very bingeable playlist, so highly recommend checking that out if you have some time. If you want to revisit some older palettes, that's going to be your best bet. Also, one more disclaimer. I am doing my best to rank these, so if this is a palette you love and I rank it lower, that doesn't mean that I don't like you. It just means that I don't love the palette. If anything was gifted or sent to me, I will put that on the screen. If I have any codes, I will put that on the screen. And I will also list all the palettes in the description box and put any codes in there. So in case you guys want to pick any of these up, then that should be helpful to you as well. So that is all I've got. Let's go ahead and start off with number 15. I don't feel like you guys are going to be surprised by this one, but I'm ranking the Natasha Denona Love Face Palette in the 15th spot. And the reason I'm ranking this lower is because it's a higher price point palette, and I don't feel like the eyeshadow quality is as good as what I typically expect from Natasha Denona. Also, I feel like this particular blush shade is very light, so it pulls more of like a white pink on me, and so I don't love that. The highlighter is pretty nice, but overall I feel like she's done this love color story so much better. Also, really don't know what's going on with this launch because it launched on Look Fantastic. At the time I'm filming this, it's still pretty much the first week of February, so I don't know if you guys are going to be able to buy this, if she's just like, I don't know. Where did Look Fantastic get these palettes? Who the heck knows? But they did ship them out, so I was able to play with it. And yeah, I'm just gonna rank this at number 15. I say save your money and put it towards something a little bit more unique from Natasha Denona. Okay, in 14th place, it does pain me to rank a Sigma palette so low, but I just didn't love this Nook palette. And I think that the neutral shades are fabulous, but I feel like the matte colorful shadows were just not it for me. So it kind of just left a not so great taste in my mouth for this particular palette. It could just totally be me being thrown off by the experience I had with it, because Sigma makes amazing shadows, but this one just didn't live up to my expectations of the brand, so I am ranking it a little bit lower. This was sent to me from the brand, so I just want to let you guys know that. But yeah, I think that I need to play with this some more. I really haven't had the time to dive in, but based on the experience I've had with this one, I'm ranking it at number 14. Okay, in 12th and 13th place, we have Colourpop Palettes. I feel like these could literally just be clones of each other. I haven't looked at them very closely yet. I figured that I would compare them in the video of the Fresh Greens palette, but I never actually ended up doing a video. I think that in my mind, I've realized that I love green eyeshadows, but this particular color story, like that sage color story, I don't feel like is very flattering with my skin tone. I feel like when it comes to greens, I prefer more punchy, like grass green kind of shades, not so much like the sage green shades. I feel like Colourpop has really made a trend out of this. I mean, I could also grab the Child palette and compare that, but I feel like if you have one of these, you basically have this color story already. So I'm a little bit regretful that I bought this one, but it looks so beautiful in the Colourpop Target display. I couldn't say no at that time, but now looking at them side by side, I feel like one is definitely enough. You don't need both. But yeah, I'm ranking these in 13th and 12th place. Okay, in 11th place, this is an older palette, so I just, you know, it pains me because it's a great palette. This one is the Cor-de-Rosa 7-pan palette from Sigma. This is actually in my Sigma favorites set. It's a beautiful 7-pan palette. The reason it's ranking lower is because at the start of January, it was a little bit slower. There wasn't a lot of eyeshadow palettes that were launching, so I did use this quite a bit. It was in my Shop My Stash. And in my rankings videos, I like to rank every palette I've tried or used or anything like that, even if it's one from a previous year, because it's fun. I don't know, I like to mix it up. So there's nothing wrong with this palette. It's just a neutral warm tone palette, and you'll see there's a lot of fun, colorful palettes coming up. So yeah, it's just ranking a little bit lower at number 11. Okay, in 10th place, we have the Juvia's Place Candy Shop palette. This is a really pretty palette, don't get me wrong. I'm just like ready for Juvia's Place to blow my mind the way they used to, and I just have not gotten that feeling from them recently. So it could be just like a personal thing with me, but Juvia's Place used to be one of my favorite indie brands, and they still make great products, but I feel like they've kind of lost that hype that they used to have in my brains. So for that reason, I'm ranking this at number 10. Okay, in 9th place is another older palette. This is the Daily Grind from Unearthly. A really nice palette from last year. Again, this was one that was in my Shop My Stash. I was using this at the start of the year just to do some neutral looks when I was like running out the door and things like that. I like having a palette like this in my Shop My Stash because it's a little bit more everyday appropriate, as some would say. So yeah, in between testing new makeup, this was the one I was using, and you guys have already seen this palette, so I don't need to say too much more about it, but it's a fun, kind of neutral, kind of warm, really fun, zesty palette. So yeah, this is number 9. And in 8th place, we have from Unearthly, this is their Valentine's Day palette. This is the Surrender palette. So again, I feel like this palette is ranking a little bit lower because it's definitely a more neutral palette in my mind. I feel like this is just such a good like Valentine's palette. Let's be real, because it has those fun reds and pinks and purples, and it also can go very neutral. So I think I did a look on each eye with this palette, and I had a lot of fun playing with it. It's great quality, and you guys know how much I love Unearthly. I don't believe you can get this palette anymore because the mystery boxes did sell out, but I'm so excited because I really like the Unearthly mystery boxes. They do full-size products, and it's usually like never before seen, which I love because I feel like back in the day, all the mystery boxes were just like products that brands were trying to get rid of. So I love that indie brands are bringing back mystery boxes, but with like never before seen limited edition products. It definitely makes it a little bit more fun and interesting. So yeah, this one is ranking at number 8. Okay, in 7th place, we have the Berry Icy palette from Simply Posh Cosmetics. They actually sent this one to me. I think this is a beautiful palette. They have a really nice formula. I think this is a very beginner friendly formula because it blends beautifully, and their metallics are so sparkly and shimmery. So I really like how these palettes are laid out. So I'm ranking this at number 7. Okay, in 6th place is the other palette I have from Simply Posh. This is Genuine Gems, and I actually bought this one when it launched with my own money. I think once you see the inside of this palette, you will see why this one ranked a little bit higher than Berry Icy, just because it's a more colorful, more jewel tone palette, which is a little bit more what I'm into. Again, it has a very similar layout, so I love that, and I had the same good experience that I had with the Berry Icy palette with this one. I actually tried this one out first because I knew the Berry Icy palette was heading my way, and I was like, how can I try another palette from them without having tried the palette I actually paid money to buy and try? So those two videos went up back to back, but yeah, I really like this brand, and I definitely have my eye on them for 2023. Okay, in 5th place, we have the Scissorhands palette from Wicked Widow, and this is such a cool color story. I just think this is such a beautiful palette to look at. I love how like big the pans are. I don't know, I just think it's just a little bit different, and I love that they embossed the little scissors on all of the matte eyeshadows. The metallics are gorgeous, and I also love that you can rearrange the pans if you want to. So yeah, I feel like I've seen a lot of improvement from this brand, and I'm very excited for them. Okay, in fourth place, I have a bit of a wild card. This is an older palette, but the quality is so nice. So I finally used this palette in a chatty get ready with me. This is the Brights 2.0 from Beauty Bay, and it's a massive, colorful palette. I feel like I'm cheating a little bit because, I mean, it has like every color of the rainbow, but you know, sometimes that's just all you need in life is a big, colorful rainbow palette. Price point is great, quality is great, so I did decide to go ahead and rank this at number 4. Number 3 is an older palette as well, and it was one I talked about in a video discussing palettes that I almost bought, and then I went ahead and bought it. It is the BPerfect Carnival Interstellar palette. When this one was revealed, I was like, there's no way I'm buying that palette. It's basically the same shadows with some cool tones at the end, but I just love when BPerfect and Stacey Marie collab because I feel like the eyeshadows are such good quality. So I did decide to go ahead and pick this up. It was on sale. I think it was after Christmas, and I was like, again, it was a little bit slower at the start of January, so I did go ahead and splurge on this older eyeshadow palette, and I really like it. I mean, I feel like the Carnival palettes are always a solid bet. Again, it's really hard for some of these palettes to compete with such a giant color story because it has everything you need, but I'm ranking it a little bit higher because it has some really good quality. I mean, these metallics feel like butter, and if you guys know me, I love a good metallic formula, so that is why this is in the 3rd spot. Let me go ahead and swatch these for you too. So pretty. Okay, in 2nd place, we have the Nomad Verona palette. This is such a gorgeous palette. I think this one is competing to be my number 1 Nomad palette because honestly, like, I like the love side, but this death side is so cool. These metallics are so cool. And just so you guys know as well, Nomad did announce that they had gotten feedback that these metallics were very hard pressed in some of the palettes, and so they are offering free replacements. I think mine is one of those palettes too because it was, I mean, you can see me like struggling a little bit to pick up the shadows in the video I posted with this palette. So yeah, if you are having trouble picking these up with like a wet brush, they posted like a disclaimer on their stories. I don't know if it's on their Instagram, but I just wanted to mention because I am a Nomad affiliate, so I feel like I should, you know, let you guys know as well in case you guys bought this palette because of me. They are offering free replacements, but I think this color story is so cool. I think this packaging is so cool. I love the theme and everything, so I really, really feel like every time they do something new, I get really excited. And this one got me really excited, which is why this palette is in 2nd place. Oh my gosh, we gotta use the Screaming Goat for number 1. Who do you think is the number 1 palette? I feel like this one is an easy guess. Technically, it's 2 palettes, but I'm gonna rank them as number 1. So I had to give it to the Lure and the Trope palette from Blend Bunny. Oh my gosh, I mean, I love multichromes, don't get me wrong. This Trope palette is genius. I love that they packaged them like this because I do shop my stash. I could totally see myself throwing this in my makeup bag, keeping this upstairs, and then just like using it. Whereas the thought of like packing like a bunch of multichrome in a like single Z palette to use for Shop My Stash is not like super practical for me. But yeah, I'm so excited about this one. But this new Lure palette, oh my goodness, this is so beautiful. I love the color story of this one. And Blend Bunny is one of those brands I have like bought since the start. I've bought the palettes and then I started getting them in PR, but I've seen their progression. If I was new to this brand, I think this is one that I would purchase first. Like I would buy this one, I'd buy All Done Up, those two. I love those color stories. They're a little bit more curated, a little bit more, I don't know, I think curated is the right word for that. But oh my gosh, I'm just so in love with this palette. I feel so ridiculous because I'm like, oh, this is my favorite one. This is my favorite one. But it really is. This shade Pearl is like out of this world. It's so cool. It's like a grungy, neutrally purpley shadow. So, so pretty. So yeah, I really like this. The mattes are so stunning. So I think that they did such a good job with that palette, which is why it is my #1 palette of January 2023. So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the first ranking video of 2023. I still haven't done my 2022 rankings. I have most of the palettes pulled. It just gives me a lot of anxiety to rank every single palette I tried in the previous year. And I think even last year I was a bit delayed because I had just had my first daughter. And so anyway, it's gonna be late, but I think I'm still gonna do it. I think I'm still gonna rank my 2022 palettes, even though most of you might have moved on to 2023. I think it'll be interesting for me at least. It'll be for the science. We'll do it for the science. But thank you guys for hanging with me. Let me know what your favorite palette of January 2023 was. You guys know I love chatting to you in the comments, so I will talk to you down there. And we will see you in another video very, very soon. Bye, guys!